Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations coming at you today with another video, and today we are taking a look at priests, specifically the healer priest in the game. We're going to assess these priests. We're going to look at them. We're going to decide which ones are actually usable and are actually worth investing in, which I'm going to go ahead and leak that information right now. There's only 2 in the game currently right now that I feel and other players, late game players in this game feel are worth using and leveling up and investing your time and resources in. So without further ado, let's check out the video. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. So as I mentioned in the intro, we are taking a look at the priest, specifically the hero priest in this game, which, if I have counted correctly, it's only going to be a couple. So we actually have where's she at? 2, 3, and 4. So we technically have 4 healer priests, and what I mean by that is if you look at somebody like Hora, for instance, technically their class is a priest. However, all of their abilities are actually support and buffs and not actually heals, right? So that's why the title of the video is why healers are not worth it and not priests. So when you take a look at this first one, or these first couple skills, as I mentioned before, these are just support classes or support abilities. The same thing goes for the Spirit Walker. He is technically a priest, but all of his skills are based on giving buffs or, taking debuffs or whatever off and strips, that kind of thing, for your team. So these guys are still viable in the game at this point that I know of and that I think of, that I can recall. I know that some late game players have been using them and have been testing them, but we are not going to look at them today. We're not checking out, or we're not saying that all priests are bad. We're saying that specifically the healer priest are the ones that we are taking a look at. So for instance, Pharaoh is another one of those support units where all of his abilities, are focused around buffing or, like I said, stripping or helping, that kind of stuff, or debuffing the team or the enemy teams. So therefore, they do not classify, in my opinion, as healers. However, let's take a look at the few healers we have in the game and why they are not viable, in my opinion, and what 2 are viable and that are worth investing in if you happen to pull them and get lucky, because one of them is a heaven unit. So taking a look today, we have only a couple of them. As I mentioned before, we have the Archbishop. The Archbishop does have a couple heals. He heals 3 allies with the lowest HP, gives a armor buff. He then last ability, recovers HP of all allies and can only be triggered once. So why is this worthless, in my opinion? Well, basically, your sacrifice. So the whole mentioning behind. Well, I guess. Let's just go this. Let's do this. Let's just continue on our journey. So Archbishop is going to be the one that we're going to talk about, or say that they're not worth it. The forest units, we're going to come here. We're going to take a look at the Priestess of the Forest right here. Again, this is going to be another unit that is not worth it, in my opinion. So we've got recovers HP for two allies with the lowest HP. So basically it does the exact same thing as Archbishop, except only does 2 allies instead of 3 allies. And instead of doing an armor buff, it does a real damage buff. She does have a third heal on here. So at the end of the round, recovers 50% recovers HP for the ally with the lowest HP. So that basically brings her back up to what the Archbishop is. And then the last one is recovers HP for all allies and increases their real damage by 10 for 2 rounds when the battle reaches round 4. Okay, so that's going to be a key factor. Battle reaches round 4. And that's going to be the next one on the list that we are going to deem not worthy. The next one on the list is going to be Vidar, whatever you want to call this guy, but his kit, again, so deals damage against all enemies, recovers HP for the ally with the lowest HP, so that's only a single HP, or a single ally. His third ability here is Lifelink, so while any ally is below 50% HP, releases Lifelink to 2 allies with lowest HP percentage and self to share damage received equally for 3 rounds, can only be triggered once per battle. And then he's going to have the final kit as at the end of each round recovers 40% of HP for all allies. So taking a look at Heaven, clicking on Gabriel here is going to be the last on this list for this video. We're going to take a look at this. Deals damage against 3 random enemies, recovers HP for 2 allies with the lowest HP, right? So basically does a AoE attack for 3 random enemies, but still only recovers HP for 2, and then resurrects it and recovers 80% of max HP when an ally is killed, can only be triggered once per battle, and then her last skills at the end of each round increases a random ally's attack by 20% for 2 rounds. So that is going to be it as far as the information on each unit, right? So let's dive into why they are, which ones are viable, which ones are not viable, and why I feel the way that I do. So going to the first 2, we're going to take a look at the Archbishop, and we're going to talk about the Priestess of the Force. Now, neither one of these, in my opinion, are worth it. They're not worth it. I've spoke to a lot of late game players. They all feel the exact same way. It is not going to be worth it. Do not invest your time and energy and resources right now at this point in the game in these 2 units. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, they can pull off a heal, right? They can give you some heals. Yes, they can give you some buffs at the same time of doing so. The downside is the sustainability is not there right now. So what I mean by that is they're going to either die too fast in order for them to pull off a heal, right? Or second thing happens is, even let's say they do pull off the heal. If they pull off the heal, your damage dealers that you have on the team, which if you're using a priest is now only 5. Well, no, if you're using a priest in the healer, or sorry, a priest in a tank, then now is only 4. So you have 4 damage dealers. They might take an extra hit. It's not worth it according to, compared to the amount of extra damage that you could be doing if you were to drop, a healer and place, or, put in another damage dealer like an assassin or a ranger, something like that you have got leveled up that you can push. That's why, these units are not going to be worth it. Like, yes, at the beginning, maybe their kit seems nice, because they can do some heals and it might carry you through a level or 2, but it's not going to be game changing. It's not going to be a game breaker. So in my opinion, and a lot of other players, it is just not going to be worth it to invest in these units. So if you get these, feel free to fodder these bad boys out for another damage dealer in that class. Okay, so taking a look at the 2 that are worth it, ladies and gentlemen, that are going to be something that you're going to want to invest in if you get lucky enough to pull them, is going to be Vidar or Vidar, whatever you want to call him, but basically his kit is super nice. It's going to be well worth it to invest in, but as I mentioned before, the devs need to rework some of the other priests, I feel like, that are healers in order to make them viable options. But the reason why this guy is fantastic is because his 3rd ability, Lifelink. So while any ally is below 50% HP, he basically attaches soul links basically two allies and the one with the lowest HP to basically spread that damage mitigation. So it basically throws, instead of that one lowest HP hero getting smacked really, really hard, it's actually going to take that and split that damage up across multiple units. And that's why he is going to be ridiculously usable and sustainable when it comes to late game, because he would make an excellent team member on a comp where you have a lot of damage dealers and they can spread it across. The other one that's not bad is at the end of each round he recovers he recovers HP for all allies. So again, it scales off his attack, which healers, have the lowest attack, but basically it's after each round is what makes this ability super nice and well worth it, because it's after each round. It's not like the Druid where it's, at the 4th round, or it's not like the Bishop where it's only once per battle. But again, that's why he is very, very, very viable. And then the last but not least, the super, super rare but never slept on unit is going to be Gabriel. So why is she worth it is because her 3rd ability, again, as Vidar, is because she has the ability, guys, to resurrect and recovers 80% of her max HP when an ally is killed. So what that means is or a couple different things to keep an eye on. One, resurrects, right? Resurrection in this game is going to be fucking huge when it comes to late game and when it comes to arena and everything else. If your enemies, taking massive damage, or your enemies are taking damage, but yet they end up killing her, they then have to deal with her all over again because she resurrects and she recovers 80% of her HP when an ally is killed. Now, keep that in mind. 80% of her max HP when an ally is killed, ladies and gentlemen. 80%. It doesn't scale off of attack. It doesn't scale off of anything else. It's guaranteed HP when an ally is killed. Now, as it mentions, it can only be used or triggered once per battle, but that once per battle, guys, can be game changing. And that's why her kit is ridiculous. I mean, that's why it is super nice. Her first kit does give them she does an AoE damage to 3 different enemies, which is always nice. AoE is really good when it comes to team comps. And then obviously, as you see, she recovers HP for 2 allies as well. So she's got a heal or 2 heals on here. She's got that resurrect, which is going to make Gabriel superior. So nevertheless, guys, do not sleep on her if you get her. However, for the new players in this game, it is going to be super difficult in order for you guys to pull them because I mean, you can try from the Heaven and Hell tree, but as you know, Heaven and Hell has a lower chance of dropping. So when you come here to Heaven and Hell right here, for a 5-star unit only has a 4.5% chance versus the 10% chance that are on all of the other races. So keep that in mind. And that is going to be it for me, ladies and gentlemen. So that is going to be my opinion on why I feel the healer priest in this game are not going to be worth it. Please be sure to comment down below. Let me know if you agree with my thoughts on this. If you disagree with me, that's okay too. Everybody has their own opinions, and I really would like to get the ideas and thoughts from you guys and what you guys really think. And if so, like I said, if you have some really good ideas and suggestions for reworks on some of these healers, be sure to drop them in the suggestion section for the devs in the Discord. If you're not there already, you can find the Discord link and stuff in the description down below. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time I drop a video.